Hi, this is Dr. Ava Cadell with Ask the Expert. And today, my guest is Audrey Hope, a soul healer who works with celebrities and people from all walks of life to help heal their problems from the deep level of the soul. And I can hardly wait to interview you, Audrey, because I think I want to come back in my next life as you with what you
Oh,
do.
wow.
I
Wait a
am
minute.
just in awe of people who have the ability to heal. So, what
Wow.
inspired you to become a healer?
First of all, that's the greatest compliment I have ever heard. I'm going to keep it in my pocket.
Thank you.
Wow. Because as you know, it's not an easy path to get to be a really balanced healer. And so you have to go through a lot. So to think that someone would want to go through my path. Anyway, it is all worth it. So that's a great thing. But to what I always say is that, there's a missing piece to healing, and that's the soul. And I am so happy that I was on the path to be able to bring a new science of spirituality to heal from a level that I really believe has been missing. People want to know why they suffer. Why are they here? What is their karma? What is their life lesson? And that's really the people in trauma. The questions that I hear a lot is, why did this happen to me? So when you take the spiritual soul perspective, you can answer those questions, and you could really bring relief to people who are suffering so badly from what happened to them in childhood and the families they were born into and the life circumstances. So I really don't even feel this is work. I just don't. I feel it just comes from my heart, and I just be with the person and bring in the light, and there we go.
That's beautiful. And you're helping humanity, and the fact that it doesn't feel like work means it's a true passion and dedication, and it's your life's path. So just being so authentic is magical. It really is. And
Yes, and teaching people how to live, which is to let go and follow the yellow brick road. And not really battle what cards you have or what comes to you. Kind of like fall into it and find the gift along the road instead of fighting it.
Absolutely. Too many people use their past woes and as an excuse for their lack of success. So I agree with you 100%. So can you tell us how your spiritual modalities guide patients in healing to achieve inner peace? Because that's what we all want. We all want peace of mind. So I'd love to
Yes.
hear about how you do that.
Well, first of all, you kind of have to take a higher carpet and rise up over your life and kind of look down and ask the questions. What is this problem asking of me on a deep soul level? What feels the same? What has been repeating? And that is the soul issue, and what I also call the soul wound. And that is what happens to us very young. And we have to all track it. I think it's around 5, 6, 7, or 8 years old. Something happens to us and we lose ourselves. We divide against ourselves, which is so dangerous, which is leaving our power and doubting ourselves. So spiritually, you got to have a soul retrieval to take back where you divided and not abandon yourself. Because I always say it's not what other people have done to us that's the problem, but what we do to ourselves because of it. And that is the dividing piece, where we left ourselves, what happened to our souls because of the trauma. And the interesting thing is, that's the power that we have, that we can take back. Of course, we can't, vacuum out. We try to vacuum out what's happened to us. But the power that we do have is to retrieve the energy we lost from the trauma And if we could find that young, then we're home free, because all we do is just repeat and repeat and repeat. And then it will turn into an illness, maybe an addiction, or you may marry your issue.
I love that. Marry your issue. Because as a human race, we are very self-destructive. Even though we say we want to be happy, we do everything in our power to be unhappy.
Yes,
So I'm sure
true.
as a healer for over 20 years, you've dealt with this. And I'm fascinated by all the different conditions that you've helped to heal. I saw that you help people with addictions. You help people who suffer from body dysphoric disorder. So I'd love to hear how various conditions and your revolutionary techniques for transformation happen, and how long it takes for some of these people to heal.
Well, I wanted really to be a one-stop shop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am a New Yorker, so we're very, let's get to it. And let's do it fast. We don't have time. When you live in New York, you never have time. I wanted to do it fast, and I wanted to do whatever was necessary. So let's just say someone lost a spouse or a parent. Well, don't you need to talk to them? Maybe there's some unresolved issue there that, and all the grief work won't really help, because you need to really talk to them. So I wanted to develop that. Maybe I could, bring them in and, psychically help in that area. Everything was a genuine love to really take care of it. So that's what really led me to these different things that I could do. I just wanted to make sure I took care of everything that was necessary. So through the years, using my common sense and really being with people, I just developed, and I still do. I don't really have a system. It's not a system. I just really open up and channel, connect. I always say connect the iPhone to the higher dimensions and let that kind of like guide me. I always loved Edgar Casey.
Oh, yes.
I mean, he answered those questions that I long to answer. And, he also asked to help humanity. And that's why he was given so many gifts. So the sincerity of it, I really wanted to just be able to do whatever I can. And that included addiction, relationships, trauma. And I work at Seasons Rehab, and they have many different houses, professional houses too. So that just was the journey of showing up and using my common sense and allowing the guides to help me grow.
Wow. When did you first find out that you had this incredible gift of psychic abilities?
Well, I always go back to when I worked in a clothing store in on Main Street in Malibu. No, it wasn't in Malibu. It was in Santa Monica. And women would come in, and I would show them a dress or dress them. I always loved fashion. And then they would tell me their problems. And then they would come back, and then they would bring their friends. So I invited people over to my house, and then they brought their friends. And I started to see that I was on to something. And so it just kind of grew and grew and grew. And then I ended up at the rehabs. And the first time I realized that I was really onto something, when I had this man who was very stuck, and he was a painter. And I don't know, I found out the block when he was like 5 years old that he didn't even know. And then all of a sudden he started painting.
Oh my goodness.
And he didn't stop. So I said, like, oh my God, I unplugged something.
Yes.
So I started to get proof in the reality of what people were doing. I like to see proof of this, even when I work with people on trying to find their soulmates, right? Now, that's a thing. I call it the science of love. Like, if you do what needs to be done, you'll have true love. But let's just say you want to get over narcissists. You will meet every narcissist on the road until you heal it. to be free of it, and then you're open to love. So I really believe that it's all about clearing the blocks.
Yes, I think I agree with you. You can't take baggage to a new relationship because otherwise it will have the same pattern as the old relationship.
Yes.
So I love that. It's so true. And the fact that you help people find their soulmates, oh my goodness, that's so powerful. Because if you
And
don't,
I've also had women who have lost children,
Mhm.
and had a miscarriage. And I said, well, don't worry. The child will come again. We
Mhm.
just have to take care of what this is bringing up for you. And one time we found there was abuse of a mother, and she was afraid of being a mother. So that needed to clear in order for her to have her child. So each pain is an opportunity and a wake-up call to
That's
show
right.
you where to look to remove the block. And so if people understood it from a spiritual level, they wouldn't suffer so much.
Yes, this is so true. And, working with women, we both love to work with women. I'm sure that my healing technique is completely different to yours. When women hate their bodies, they have what we call dysmorphic disorder. And what I do is very pragmatic. I just say, let's look at the areas that you hate and let's find the functions, all the wonderful functions that that part of your body does for you. And let's start appreciating those functions. But I'd love to
Beautiful.
hear how you can help to heal women from being so cruel to themselves and hating everything about themselves from head to toe.
Well, I think you also have to track it. And so I use spiritual light, all spiritual techniques. Like some people just do yoga and just do
Mhm.
Reiki and just do meditation. But I try to incorporate all that power into it, like a healing thing. So to be able to take a flashlight in the body and to be able to see what's going on, like the body keeps the score, and really look at where that wound is and describe it like in cartoons and pictures, and see what part of the body there might be a cave or a string or something, a wall, and going in there and tracking when that happened, how old you were when that started. And let's say there's a wall of protection that one needed, or an abusive father or mother that created that self-hate, to go in there and look at it in pictures, soul pictures, and then be able to figure it out, and then take our power to heal, which we all have. I am now, which is the magic wand. I am now. And then being in the light, and then going in the body and doing self-healing and finding out the source of it.
Yes,
That's
that's
what I
very
like. And
important.
also the self-love, the self-esteem, it with a boundary to begin, like in groups of women who have been abused. Well, what if they took a boundary? I will no longer allow anyone to abuse me. I mean, you could start there,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Right?
very powerful. I did that myself after my first very, very bad relationship as a teenager. Yeah, this is such good advice that everybody can use on themselves without even having to go into deep therapy. But the fact that you work with people spiritually is so unique. And I think in today's world, that's what we need. And
Yes.
I know that you also are an expert working with couples. So I wanted to ask you how,
Yes.
because I also work with couples, but you work with them spiritually. So how do you deal with marital problems to heal and manifest? One of my favorite words,
Yeah,
manifest
love it.
successful relationships.
Well,
That's
again, it's about, what is the fight about deeply? What is the luggage and karma you are bringing to the relationship? And when you really go down, 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 like an alchemist into the cave, you often find that couples have the same issues,
yes, that's
and
right.
they're hitting each other's soul issue, right? So
Yeah.
again, it's a mirror to what needs healing, right? So instead of he, she did this, the question is, what, again, the mirror, what is this inspiring me to heal? And what are you representing? What are you bringing up? And so when you take that perspective, it takes it off the other person and brings it back to the self-healing that needs to happen. Because you see, spiritually, we are all here to graduate in our own class. We cannot save anyone. We are not to do it for other people. We wouldn't go to school for our own children, right? So learning soul laws of how it works is really important. And what do people do energetically, Ava? They take on, like a sponge, other people's energy. So I teach an energy class because a lot of times we're misdiagnosed and it's an energy problem. You were just sensitive. You try to help everyone when you were in the trauma, and you were a sponge and you took it in your body. So you have to look at the cords, and you have to look energetically at what is happening and what you're doing, because we so try to save people. We think if we can help our mother or father young, maybe we'll be able to survive. So you got to look at it from an energy perspective. So with couples, it's all about that too. What are you bringing up? Because if you don't do that work, you're only going to meet it again. You'll marry it in a different form. You'll date it in a different form, and you'll end up at the exact issue.
Wow. And speaking of couples, can you tell us a little bit about your philosophy on cheating and how to heal after you've been cheated on? Is that also an energy clearing?
Oh, that is such an important question, because, a lot of people come to the rehab, devastated over that betrayal. So cheating is lying, right?
Right.
So again, you have to want to heal. You have to bring the couples to a place where they're willing to dive into it. And then if they decide to stay together, they cannot mention it anymore. It's over. You cannot keep bringing it up. It's like paying a fine over and over again in the courts.
Yes.
You can't do it. You got to pay it and move. So I've done that with really like a couple where he cheated while she was pregnant. And I said, let her scream and get it out for a whole month. Take it. You have to. But then if you decide to stay together, we're done. And you have to make new boundaries and new plans, because the cheating is just also a sign of something else. Who's the one that can't sleep? The one who did the cheating.
Yeah.
The soul suffers no matter what we say. The soul knows. And whatever we do, it will stay with us.
That's right.
Right? When you hurt somebody, right? It's on you, and you don't want to do that. It's with harm to none. So when you really hurt someone, you'll be haunted, and you don't want to be haunted.
No, which brings me to my next question. So many people need healing from abuse, child abuse, physical abuse, all kinds of traumatic assault, abuse, harassment. And I'm wondering, what advice can you give those people? How can they just start the healing process? Because
wow.
Broken. They're so broken.
I have so many clients right now with stories that I'm very emotional about. Young kids, that have been raped by their coaches.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And it just is like the theme right now. There's a lot of it. So I think spiritually, we don't understand the game of life. Nobody really told us the manual on how this game works. So we're kind of in the dark and we're lost. So what I try to do is explain the game of life. You're here. You came in to become your best self. And karmically, you came in sometimes to redo something that you might have regretted in your own self. So we forgot that we set up the classes. We forgot that we judge our own selves. This is like a camera. We take it out. We put it into a camera when we go to the other side and we review our lives. This is not about the patriarchy, man in the sky who's judging us. We've been sold a wrong bill of goods. And that is so present in my healing work almost all the time, about what religion has done and sin, guilt, and punishment has done. And I'm doing a whole thing on that, and what it's done to women and how it's taken women's power. So that's just like a really, really deep subject. But sometimes we forget that we want to come here and do everything in one lifetime. So we want to take on a lot of challenges. So sometime with abuse spiritually, it's that if you can get over that and find yourself from that crucifixion and resurrect from that, wow, could you imagine the power that you have? So it could also be seen spiritually. A lot of beautiful spiritual people have been sexually abused.
Yes.
They've taken on a lot of challenges in this lifetime. And on this path, the more light you have, the more the darkness hits. That is the truth. You don't go and then all of a sudden it's home free and we're singing songs. It gets harder. And that's a spiritual truth that I want to bring to the world so they understand. As you go up in the path of light, the opposite is going to challenge you. And you have to know it, be prepared, and become a warrior. So for people who have been abused, they took on a lot. And they're challenged to take themselves back from a very, very hard battle. But if they do it, they will never lose again. They will really be crucified to resurrection for eternal power.
Wow. That's very heavy stuff, Audrey.
Right.
So true. So
Yeah.
when does somebody know that they are ready for healing? Because there are a lot of people out there who are skeptical about spirituality and healing. And they just, like you said before, they just think that this is the cards that they've been dealt, and it's, they're using it as an excuse for their mental illness, for their lack of success, for their relationship nightmares. So when does a person know that they're really ready to work with somebody like yourself?
When they're down on their knees.
That they got to go that far. Hit rock.
When the little truck goes, wake up, no. Then the heavier, wake up, no. And then the Mack truck comes. And it's going to take, nobody's going to win this one. The universe wants us all to heal. So you could run, you could deny all you want, but you're not going to be able to be running forever, because life is the guru. Life is what gets you on your knees. And when you suffer enough, you will surrender and come to that doorway where you'll say, okay, I'm ready. And I love to work with addicts. I really do, because they're so on their knees, so open, so much in pain, that they're this close to moving into that other doorway. So the adversity, the pain, the suffering is the invitation to ascend. And we know we're ready when we can't take it anymore.
Wow, that's powerful. And when you say I know you work with addictions, do you work with alcohol, sex addiction, love addiction, drug addiction? Do you work with all different kinds of addiction?
Yes, and cults, which is a very big issue of the day.
Oh,
right. And it is, yes. Well, that is where, freedom of the soul is when we own our own power and we become our own authentic selves. The sovereignty of the self. We become sovereign and royal to ourselves. We don't give our power to anyone. What happens with women and with cults and with everyone is we get a twist. It's as if our mind gets twisted and we believe the twist. We could say, oh, this is suit, it's white. It's white. And you go, no, it's red. But if I say it enough, I'll twist you and make you believe I'm wearing a white suit. That twist has happened to women and is the cause of the self-doubt. They started to believe it. What does guilt, sin, and punishment do? Twist you. And cults use it. They twist and turn so you don't know what is true. So to heal, we got to untwist and bring back women and people back to critical mind thinking and to know they've been messed with. How do you help someone in a cult? You let them know you've been messed with. You've been messed with. And when they have that moment, oh, yes, it's a moment of pause and they really get it. We are to come back to freedom of the self and not give our power away to anyone or anything, any relationship, any religion, anything. Freedom.
Yeah, freedom is what we all want as human beings. And some people are very needy. And I've helped quite a few women who will tell their partner, you know, I can't live without you. I need you so badly. And it's such a turnoff to the partner. So I try to help women understand that they don't need their partner, but they want their partner. It's completely different. They want, they desire, but they can live without them. If their partner disappeared, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I mean, I lost the love of my life. He died, and I'm still here. And, you know, I had to heal and I had to open up my heart to meet someone else. And it's just part of the evolution of life. So I've never heard healing from a cult, but I now understand the way you communicated it, that it is a very big problem, especially today, where there are people who are con artists, who are manipulators, who are out there to try and control other people when they are at their weakest.
Yes.
And
And when
so,
you connect spiritually and get the power that we really are,
mhm,
the truth, we are multidimensional light beings with power to heal others and ourselves. When you plug in and you get that power and you live in a high frequency, your body will tell you when someone is lying. You will get
right.
the intuition to
Mhm.
know to stay away from this person. As we heal, we get more intuitive. And I love to help people turn on the lights, activate the light body to the higher frequency that is our birthright, and to be able to use intuition. So everyone is psychic and they have to know it. They have powers. And that's the way you have to live. You don't have to worry anymore because the universe will tell you who to stay away from. And that's a beautiful power to have as we navigate through life.
That's right. And a lot of people want to know how they can tap into that power and how they can manifest something that they really want. And
Yes, you mentioned need.
yes,
That is exactly what you don't do when you want to manifest, right? If you
okay,
need the job,
right.
you're lost. You go in and you're moving forward, right? And you're like grasping. But when you learn about trust and power spiritually to live in that knowing and connection, you sit back in the chair and then you allow things to come to you, right? So
Right.
manifesting is all about not needing. So that donut hole that we have, we think someone's going to fill it, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it's the Dorothy and Oz story, right?
Yes,
She says,
yes,
"Oh, wow, I had to go through all this." And Glenda says, "Well, you wouldn't have believed me." So the answer is in our own shoes. So that little donut hole where we think someone, a man or someone could fill it, oh my God, we have to fill it ourselves.
that's
And
right.
then we have to know through the law of attraction, the soulmate will come. I
Yeah.
mean, I had a tapping on my shoulder to go on plentyoffish.com to meet my husband. It was a voice in my ear.
Yes,
And
yes,
I went on and I'm like, leave me alone. It was like that, leave me alone. And
right.
then I met him. What are the odds?
Yeah. Well, you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to the universe and your little gut instinct, that tiny little voice deep in your gut. Um, but I'm also fascinated when you were talking about multidimensional. I also believe in quantum physics. I believe that the past and the present and the future can all happen at the same time. Is this something that you also include in your spirituality as a healer?
Yes. You
But you
have to
might,
raise, yes, you have to raise the light, the volume of the light. Healing is an energy change, an alchemy. Base metal into gold, caterpillar into butterfly. You have to change your vibration, your energy, and your state. You can't keep the old identity. You don't need the caterpillar anymore. Thank you very much for all the pain and suffering to get here. But I'm now a free flying butterfly. So healing is about changing the vibration and to know through the spine. That's what it is, even in the Bible, the serpent. And even Jesus said, do what I do. He meant turn on the lights and resurrect into your real power. And the power, the kingdom of God is within. It's really in us. So we have to turn on our lights, turn on our pineal gland, and activate all the chakras to really spin. That's one of the secrets of healing, is that we spin and we raise up higher. So we actually feel the enlightenment on our central nervous system. This was given to me by Gandhi's teacher, Srimataji, who taught me how to raise people's vibration. So all of a sudden they don't think. And they're like, wow, there is something else. Because people think too much. I'm sure with your clients, you've heard, well, I think all the time. I have monkey mind. How to stop thinking, right? So you actually have to shut it off, that spiraling. And there's techniques to get it to stop thinking. We don't need to think. All meditation and healing is about stop thinking and allowing, because our minds will really cause us suffering.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we think of the same thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day, and they're not working for us.
Yes.
So it's so true. And it's really hard for some people to empty their minds. But like you, I write meditations. I give them away for free. I want to help people. I want to show people how to forgive. So that's my next question about forgiveness. How important is it to forgive yourself for allowing abuse? We know that
so one of the things that Srimataji taught me, she said, this is where we hold guilt. There's different areas of the body that hold different issues, right?
Yeah.
And any illness needs to be tracked. Like I have a client right now who has some cysts on the ovaries. Well, there's been some sexual abuse, never dealt with, right? So the body is telling us what we need, right? So this is where we hold guilt, in the neck. So when we say this 16 times, I am not guilty, I am not guilty, that's because the chakra spins 16 times. So the different areas of the body also, I forgive myself, and that's here. I forgive myself because I can. So it's kind of like a general forgiveness. There are some things that are very hard to forgive. I say, wouldn't it be better to forget?
That's
right.
It would be.
But if you could forgive generally, I forgive everybody, everything. I am in the general energy of forgiveness. That's very powerful because we do what we can. And it's like people from the Holocaust. Come on, or 9/11. That was a very hard group to work with. Seeing people jumping out the windows. They didn't do very well. You have to keep it real. You really do. You have to keep it real.
Well, that's what I love about you, because you do teach your healing to people so that they can understand it. It's in layman terms. It's not completely woo-hoo. So a lot of people will back off if, like I taught Tantra, but for some people, they're not interested in Tantra because it's too woo-hoo. But if I communicate it in a way where they understand it, then it's much easier for them to understand that this is just another way of connecting. So it's just a synergetic way instead of sex, meaning, procreation or pleasure. It's synchronized energy exchange.
I love that.
So it's now they say, oh, yeah, I want that. How do I get that? And I love the way that you communicate. In fact, I saw one of your videos on Instagram where you showed us how to do a quick, deep therapy on ourselves. And I think that has such value for people to connect with people of all ages and of all demographics. And it's so generous of you to do that. Could you maybe share some of the things that you do on your Instagram? And
Well, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because, I do television, and I do, actually, I'm going to be talking about cheating on ABC. It's coming up.
Oh,
I've
right.
done that. Yeah, I've done a lot of media. This is like you, I have a passion, and I'm developing TV shows on, they're in progress.
Fantastic.
And one's on relationships, and the other one is on healing. Yeah. So that's all been, the pilots are done, it's done. But I'm sorry, what was the question again? I got
the question was, so you share a lot of your
yes. Oh, yes.
self-healing.
Yes. So one of the managers, I have a manager, I have a whole team, but one of the managers, while I was looking for one, said, Audrey, you really are giving it all away. And I said, exactly. He just said, take it all off. And I'm like, well, why am I doing this? Not because you think, I'm doing it because I really, really want to. Not so that I'll make $1 million and all that, And that's a secret of the gods, when it's really thy will be done, when it's really connected to the soul purpose. That's manifestation right there. What are your reasons for wanting something? Right?
Yeah, I think sharing your wisdom is so beautiful. I mean, it literally gives you immortality because you are helping to change people's lives. And I'm like you, I would give away everything if I could, but I have to stop at some point because then it isn't valued and appreciated.
Yes, absolutely.
But there are so many people suffering from so many different things that, even the minuscule of self-healing, even like just saying to people, just put your arms around yourself and say, I love you to yourself. I mean, that's a form of healing. And a lot of people actually cry because they haven't said that to themselves probably ever. They're waiting for someone else to say, I love you. But if you can't say it to yourself, it's going to be very difficult through the law of attraction to find somebody who is,
yes,
not less broken than you are.
Yes. And you're making me laugh because my new healing technique is a teddy bear.
Ah, I love that.
And it's so big, the one I got. It really takes up the whole living room.
Really?
But then I read this article from UCLA about the healing of a teddy bear and what it really has done for trauma and grief is when you're going like this. It's really important to hug something.
Yes.
Right. And so this big teddy bear that I have has been amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
Do you use that in the with the people suffering from addictions in the rehab?
Well, I can't carry it to work. It came actually
in a little box car as a passenger. Oh my goodness, that is.
But if someone's in my office, they can hug Freddie. He's called
Freddie.
But the whole idea of like how to heal too. Sometimes you can't be nice, and you need to do what Elizabeth Clare Ross said, right? Elizabeth, she said that you have to like get it out. You have to punch it out.
Right.
And she would have, her protege would have like these things where there'd be like rubber lead pipes and telephone books, and you would beat it out. I'm fine. And then it would come out. The externalization, people are too nice in therapy, and it needs to come out. And women are so afraid of anger and rage. but I
Yeah.
tell them it's truth, and you can't be quiet. You can't silence a woman because it'll come out in some other way. Right? What is
Yeah.
rage and anger, but like truth held in? So it has to be external too.
So do you, I guess you do try to help people purge
Yes.
their
Yes.
dark thoughts and feelings. Yeah, and that's very difficult to do, um, because it is negative and it is a lot of fear, induced, but you can handle that. I've seen some of your videos where you are a very strong force of energy, and that's what the people need from you.
Well, it's also because it's healing is not really what people think. You think it's something could, but it could be something else. So that's an interesting thing, right? It's not necessarily the issue, it's the fact that you hid the issue. And there's so much energy to hide something in a closet. No, you can't go in, you can't go in. That's something in itself, right? Well, how about just having the courage to know that you can go in the closet and look at it? That's healing too in itself, that you had the courage to face the demon, what's been haunting you.
Right? But people are so afraid of what's going to happen once they face their demons. They're just really
Right,
scared
right.
how that's going to affect them mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually.
So you make them safe. Like I try to come up with new techniques. One of the techniques I'll use is the animals. I'll use animals because that's one of the secrets too. So all in the animal kingdom.
Like
And
a
it's very
cat or a
neutral.
dog, like
Just
a
whatever
pet.
their totem is. That's
Okay.
why the shamans and the Native Americans have used it,
Yeah.
because the animal is neutral. There's no like belief systems. Everybody loves the animals. So to begin to bring intuition and to bring healing, you find out who your guide is, who your animal totem is, through a process that a shaman showed me. You take them down under the tree and they find it and they go, they could trust the animal.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm also a great believer in, pet therapy. And
Yes.
I have this retreat called the Loveology retreat where I have goats, cats, dogs. It's just a place of love, filled with love. And yeah, when you visit a goat, you just have to smile. It makes your heart smile. They're so sweet and they just want to be loved. So that's a wonderful secret that you shared with us. But also, as you said, we have, you know, our animal guides. Do you also believe in angel guides by any chance? Do you work with
Yes.
angels?
I had someone yesterday who never spoke up about the abuse she was under,
Mm-hmm.
her dad, and I took her up like to a hospital up higher, just higher. Anytime
Mm-hmm.
you go beyond 3D higher, and
Mm-hmm.
saw the lights and brought in some angels, and that helped her because it was in a higher place that was safe. And I said, "What do you see? What color are the angels?" And allow them to heal your body. And they went into her throat. And I said, "Well, what's in your throat?" She said, "I see a red ball. They're showing me a red ball." And of course, that was her anger, which
Right.
comes out when she drinks.
Interesting. When she
So
swallowed.
that when she drinks, there's like a truth serum to the alcohol, right? People have so much
Right.
shame around addiction. And that really bothers me when there's always a reason for it. We shame ourselves. That's terrible. That's one of the things I really believe in you cannot do. So when she went in there and she saw it from this point of view higher up, and I said, "Tell me what you're feeling and say it out loud." That's where it all came out. I'm really this, and I really feel this. And then the red ball disintegrated, and then the angels blessed her, and then we came back. So you can use all sorts of these things,
Yeah,
like a shaman journey or, a visualization with spiritual characters to really heal.
right. I mean, it's incredible. What do you think that humanity needs more than anything right now with the world as it is? How can we help others to heal? How can we share our positive energy and vibration to help others in general?
So when you, again, perspective is the answer for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Perspective. Take a new perspective, take a new look at everything, right? What's going on in the world? Everything is out in the open. Well, how do you heal? You bring it out in the open. And that's the benefit to what's happening to us in the world. We can see everything. Imagine how much things were hidden. You can't heal when things are hidden. So things are out in the open. And spiritually speaking, great masters have said it, prophets have said it, ancient books have said it, that the age of Aquarius is an amazing time period of spiritual revolution. So don't be tricked by all the crap and all the pain. We are all being invited into a higher light. And that's what this is all about. So knowing that perspective can really help us.
That's fantastic. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Things are more transparent than ever before, mainly because of the media and the internet, but that makes perfect sense. So please let us know how people can find out more about you, and let us know about your upcoming television appearances, your products, your books, working with you individually or as a group. I would love for my viewers to get to know
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
And yeah, just let us know how we can know more about what you do.
Thank you so much. That's so generous. Well, my website is audreyhope.com, and I put everything on there, all the latest things. And then I have a YouTube Audrey Hope Now. Please subscribe. And then my Instagram at Audrey Hope. And I could be reached at any of those places. And my upcoming TV shows, one on relationships, one on psychic healing, it's just really out there now. And so, I just bless it, and it would be amazing. It's been my life's work to have that on a global scale. My real dream. It took a long time to get there. So I'll keep you posted on that. We're waiting to hear on that.
Great.
So yeah.
And everybody watching should manifest that for you, because I
Yes.
found it's much easier to manifest for someone else than it is for yourself.
Yes.
But I will definitely manifest that for you, because then you can reach, a bigger demographic of people globally,
Yes.
which would be wonderful. I think that sounds fantastic. Is there a name for your show? Or is it your name?
Yeah, they don't want me to say it right now.
Okay.
It's a fantastic name. It has my name in it.
Good,
But
good.
I'm Audrey Hope, so that's fun. You always use
And I
Hope.
love your name. I mean, but we
Yeah.
all need hope. We all
Yes.
want hope. It's a
Yes.
fantastic name.
Yes, and my license plate says New World. I didn't want that one, but that's the one I got. It cost me a fortune.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing all your wisdom, your knowledge, and for just helping the world to heal. Really, what you're doing is superlative. And I know that it's going to help everybody watching this. And I can't wait to meet you in person. So
Yes,
I have
let's
an
do
open
that.
invitation to my retreat. And
I will
thank you.
definitely take you up on it, and whatever I can to tell people about it. I really thank you for your generosity of spirit and for allowing me to speak and share. It really is so amazing. And I'm very grateful.
Thank you, Audrey.